Let me ask you something you probably won't want to answer honestly. How many times have you started reading this script only to feel the urge to check something else? How many times has your mind already wandered to what you need to do next, what you should check, what you might be missing? If you're like most people, at least 3 or 4 times already, and we're less than a minute in. You're not just distracted, you're infected. You're suffering from what I call the distraction epidemic, and it's spreading faster than any virus ever could. This isn't normal human behavior. Your grandparents could sit and read for hours. They could have conversations that lasted an entire evening. They could focus on one task until completion. They could be bored without reaching for distraction. You can't do any of that, and neither can most people in 2025. You can't read more than a few paragraphs without checking your phone. You can't have a conversation without glancing at notifications. You can't work on one task without switching to 12 others. You can't sit in a waiting room without immediately pulling out your device. This isn't a personal failing. This is a pandemic, a distraction epidemic, and you're one of billions of infected people. But here's what makes it truly dangerous. This epidemic doesn't just steal your time, it's stealing your capacity to think deeply, to create meaningfully, to connect authentically, to live fully. It's fragmenting your consciousness into thousands of pieces, and you're losing yourself in the fragmentation. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics faced their own version of this epidemic. Not digital distraction, but the same fundamental problem, a world that constantly pulled their attention in 1,000 directions, demands, obligations, drama, noise. And they developed a cure, not just a treatment, a complete cure, a way to become immune to distraction regardless of how chaotic the world became. In the next 35 minutes, I'm going to give you that cure, the Stoic solution to the distraction epidemic. How to rebuild your attention span, reclaim your focus, and become immune to the online overload that's destroying everyone around you. Stay until minute 32, because that's when I reveal the one Stoic technique that cures distraction completely. Once you master this technique, distraction becomes impossible. Your attention becomes unbreakable. My name is Mind Armor, and this is your cure. Let's start by understanding what's really happening. You think you have a distraction problem. You don't. You have an infection, and like any infection, it's getting worse over time. The distraction epidemic spreads through digital transmission. Every app you use is designed to infect you, to fragment your attention, to make sustained focus impossible, to turn you into someone who can't concentrate for more than a few minutes. This is not accidental. This is engineered. There are teams of people whose entire job is to make you more distractible, to shorten your attention span, to make you check more frequently. They succeed by hijacking your brain's reward system. Every notification is a hit of dopamine. Every new piece of content is a potential reward. Your brain learns, constantly switching attention sometimes brings rewards. So it starts switching constantly, seeking rewards, unable to focus, always scanning for the next dopamine hit. This is called variable ratio reinforcement. It's the most powerful form of conditioning. It's what makes gambling addictive, and it's what makes your phone addictive. You've been conditioned, infected. Your natural capacity for sustained attention has been destroyed and replaced with compulsive attention switching. And the symptoms are everywhere. You start tasks, but don't finish them. You read articles, but don't remember them. You watch videos, but can't explain what you learned. You're in conversations, but not really present. You're busy all day, but accomplish nothing meaningful. This is the distraction epidemic in full effect, and it's destroying your life one fragmented moment at a time. The Stoics would look at this and see exactly what it is: enslavement. You're enslaved to distraction, to impulses you can't control, to urges you can't resist, to patterns you can't break. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. But you're not free. You're enslaved to every notification, every urge to check, every impulse to switch tasks, every compulsion to consume just one more piece of content. And the tragedy is you know this, you feel it, you hate it, but you don't know how to cure it. That's what I'm here to give you, the cure, the complete Stoic solution to the distraction epidemic. The first principle of the cure: understand the true cost of distraction. Right now, you probably think distraction is annoying, a minor problem, something that wastes a bit of time but isn't that serious. You're catastrophically wrong. Distraction isn't just wasting your time, it's destroying your capacity for depth, for mastery, for meaning, for connection, for creativity, for wisdom. Everything valuable in life requires sustained attention. Deep thinking requires hours of uninterrupted focus. Meaningful work requires flow states that take 20 minutes to enter. Real connection requires presence that lasts longer than a notification cycle. Wisdom requires reflection that can't happen in fragmented minutes. When you're constantly distracted, you can't access any of this. You can't think deeply. You can't work meaningfully. You can't connect authentically. You can't create wisdom. You're locked into shallowness, skimming surfaces, never going deep, never achieving mastery, never creating anything truly valuable. The Stoics understood this completely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." Not scattered attention on 12 things, concentrated attention on one thing, precise, genuine, serious. That's the opposite of how you're living. You're giving scattered attention to 1,000 things, imprecise, superficial, casual. And that's why your life feels hollow, why you're busy but not productive, active but not effective, moving but not progressing. Distraction doesn't just waste time, it wastes life, your life, the only one you get. When you understand the true cost, the cure becomes urgent, not optional, not something you'll get to eventually. Urgent, now.
The second principle: recognize that you're fighting an asymmetric war. You're using willpower and good intentions. They're using neuroscience and behavioral engineering. You're trying occasionally. They're optimizing constantly. You're resisting when you remember. They're attacking every moment. This is why you keep losing. You're bringing a knife to a drone fight. The Stoics understood asymmetric warfare. They knew that when the enemy is stronger, you don't fight the same way. You change the battlefield. You change the rules. You use different weapons. You can't beat the distraction epidemic with willpower. You need systemic solutions, environmental design, identity shifts, philosophical foundations. You need to stop fighting individual distractions and start building immunity to all distraction. This is what the Stoics did. They didn't resist each individual temptation. They built a philosophical foundation that made temptation irrelevant. You need the same approach. Stop fighting distractions one by one. Build complete immunity. The third principle: attention is a muscle that atrophies with disuse. You used to be able to focus. As a child, you could get lost in activities for hours. You could read books. You could play without distraction. You could be present. That capacity didn't disappear. It atrophied, like a muscle you stopped using. Weeks of distraction weakened it. Months of fragmentation atrophied it further. Years of constant disruption left it almost completely dysfunctional. But muscles can be rebuilt, stronger than before. The same is true for attention. The Stoics believed in training the mind like an athlete trains the body, consistently, progressively, systematically. You need an attention training protocol. Not just trying to focus better, actually training your attention systematically, rebuilding the muscle from its current atrophied state to peak performance. This takes time, this takes consistency, this takes practice, but it works. Your attention can be rebuilt, stronger than it's ever been. Now let me give you the Stoic cure for the distraction epidemic. This is comprehensive. This is systematic. This is the complete solution. Element 1. The Morning Focus Foundation. The Stoics started each day with preparation, mental preparation. Before engaging with the chaos, they centered themselves. You need the same practice. The first hour of your day must be distraction-free, completely. This builds your attention muscle from the moment you wake up. No phone, no email, no news, no content, nothing that fragments you. Instead, physical movement gets blood flowing to your brain, improves focus capacity. Meditation, even 10 minutes, trains sustained attention, builds awareness when your mind wanders. Journaling clarifies thinking, processes thoughts, creates mental space. Planning, identify your one primary focus for the day, not 12 priorities. One, the thing that matters most. This morning foundation creates momentum. You've started the day with sustained attention. You've proven to yourself that you can focus. You've built confidence. When distraction comes later, and it will come, you have a foundation to return to. Without this morning foundation, you're infected from the moment you wake up. Checking your phone immediately fragments your attention. You never recover. The entire day is reactive and distracted. Element 2. The Single Task Protocol. This is radical in 2025. Work on one thing at a time. Only one. No multitasking. No task switching. No having 12 tabs open. One task, one window, one focus. For 90 minutes minimum. The Stoics practiced this naturally. When Marcus Aurelius governed, he governed. When he journaled, he journaled. When he met with advisors, he was fully present. One thing at a time. Modern culture tells you multitasking is a skill. It's not. It's a disease. Every task switch costs you focus, costs you quality, costs you effectiveness. Studies show it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully refocus after a distraction. Most people are distracted every 3 minutes, which means they never actually focus. They just constantly switch between fragmented attention states. The single task protocol cures this. Close everything except what you're working on. Phone in another room, notifications off, email closed, just you and the task. For the first 20 minutes, your mind will revolt. It wants stimulation. It wants to switch. It wants to check something. Notice these urges. Don't obey them. Just notice. This is your mind detoxing from constant switching. After 20 minutes, something shifts. You enter flow, real focus, the kind you haven't experienced in months or years. After 90 minutes, you've accomplished more meaningful work than most people do in a week of distracted effort. This is the power of single tasking. This is what cures the distraction epidemic at its core. Element 3. The Distraction Audit. You can't cure what you don't measure. You need to know exactly how distracted you actually are. For 1 week, track every distraction, every time you switch tasks, every time you check your phone, every time your mind wanders, every time you get pulled away from what you intended to focus on. Be honest, be thorough. The data will be horrifying.